Today on the channel, I'm going to show you how to play the song You Got Another Thing Coming by Judas Priest. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to play the song You Got Another Thing Coming by Judas Priest. This is a great song. It's a fan favorite. It's fun to play live. It's fun to play on guitar. And without further ado, let's begin. It's in standard tuning and it's in F sharp minor. Or A major. The relative major. We're going to say F sharp minor just for fun, all right? So F sharp. All right, so the song starts off with some serious metal chugging on this F sharp 5. It's called a 5 chord because there's no third in the chord. It's just a 1 and a 5. So we're... All right, just some caveman metal right there, all right? So then we're going to do the E, an E, a B, and an F sharp. This is my metal E. It's played like that. So instead of playing E or E, I'm playing, we're going to do a B5 and an F sharp. Okay, so if you notice, I've got a little bit of chorus on my guitar. I've got a little bit of reverb and a little bit of delay. My delay is set at 125 on the left, 250 on the right. I've got about 12-13% of a plate reverb and maybe about 30% chorus. I'm running through Pro Tools. I got my Fractal X8 with a Friedman BE model. And I'm playing this V because we're going to play some really high notes in the guitar solo. And this is really easy to access upper register, so. And it looks metal, all right? You got to play metal on a V, right? All right, so there's our verse, or our intro, I should say. All right, that little turnaround lick is, it's just second fret on the D and the G and the D and the G string, and then the 4th fret on the A and the D, and then we're gonna go up to the 4th fret on the G and the D string, and then back to an F sharp. Ever notice that all the heaviest riffs in metal and rock are in F sharp? It's like a Immigrant Song, or then there's I digress, man. If there's other really cool F sharp licks that you can think of or riffs in metal, put them in the comments below. I'm forgetting a whole mess of them, man. Monkey Business. That sounds like a Man on a Silver Mountain. Anyway, back to You Got Another Thing Coming. After it goes, he's going to chug on this. So you got to get these punctuated stabs in. We're going to go down to the E, or just lift up the index finger like that. So we're going to go. That's when Rob's singing the verse. Okay, then there's like this little pre-chorus where a lot of guys play a D major chord twice, then an A to an F sharp. But in actuality, the bass player is doing a B while they're playing the D. So when you're on a D chord and there's a B on the bass, it makes a B minor. Because a D major and a B minor are the same relative major minor in keys, but the B makes it a B minor. So in my opinion, it sounds best on this pre-chorus to do a B minor and then play an A over a D, then an A5 to an F sharp. You can play a full-blown F sharp minor if you want, because we've rolled back and we're cleaner on this, so you can actually hear the nice minor thirds. And then go B minor again, D with an A on the bass, and A to a C sharp 5. Then it goes into the chorus, right? And the chorus riff goes. Everything's based off this F sharp minor pentatonic. Even the guitar solo. And these are double stops. A double stop is when you take two notes and play them together. You can do that all over the pentatonic scale. It's really fun. It really adds a lot of power and depth to the actual rhythm of the song. So again, the rhythm on time is. Later on in the song, after the guitar solo and another verse, there's a breakdown in the song where it's just kick drum and rhythm guitar, and that part is by itself. That's always fun when you're playing that in front of a crowd, because everyone, should be doing this, but in reality there's like 4 people at the bar, and that's including the waitress and the bartender. But you're up there. But that one night, man, when there's 200, 300 people in there, it pays off, and you're like, my part's coming up. So don't mess that part up, otherwise you're going to go from hero to zero in like 2 seconds, and no one's ever going to forget it, and your bandmates won't let you down, okay? So let's talk about, that's the intro, that's the verse, that's the pre-chorus, and the chorus part. And that's it, that's the whole song, other than the guitar solo. So let's go over this guitar solo. The guitar solo is an F sharp minor, and the F sharp minor scale, if you play it up on the 14th fret, it's 1 octave higher. That's where the majority of this solo is. Some of it is not, but most of it's going to be up on the 14th fret. So if you take this and we put it up here, and we're going to add a flat 5 note, which is, some call it the blue note. There's 2 of them. It's on the 15th fret on the A string, and it's the 17th fret on the G string. Tritones are great in rock and roll because you hear it in YYZ, you hear it in Sandman. In Black Sabbath, I mean, it's all over the place. It's just decadent, just some music history back in, classical and Baroque days back in many, a few hundred years ago, you could not write a song with a tritone interval in it because it was considered satanic, because the dissonance was so evil that, that you were forbidden to write in those keys. So that's, why Sabbath writes with a lot of tritones. Manson. It's great stuff. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you about this is there's a lot of parts in this song where it goes. This blue note is all over the place in this guitar solo. Okay, so let's take a look at it. Now, I just told you we're in the F sharp minor pentatonic position, right? So what am I going to do? I'm going to play up on the 22nd fret. So I said not all of the solo is played in this position, but it stays in F sharp minor pentatonic through the whole damn thing, all right, which is fine. But we're up here on the 22nd fret, okay, and he's going to bend the 22nd fret up a full step 4 times. Like that, and then he's going to go 17 to 19. 17 on the high E and 19 on the B. So it's like that. I find that up picking when you're playing high notes and bends on the high E string, if you up pick it, it works better because you're not going to hit any other strings and it's more accurate. So that's the first part of the solo. That's the first phrase. I'm going to show you this guitar solo in 7 total phrases, because I feel like if you learn solos in segments and you memorize each phrase, then all you got to do is glue them together, and then you got the solo, right? So let's move on to the second phrase. The second phrase goes like this. All right, so we've got this blue note in there. All right, that tritone, so we're going to slide into the 14th fret on the B really quick. You almost can't even hear it on the record. And then he goes, it's like a Chuck Berry riff. We're on the 16th on the G and 14-14 on the B and the E. So we're going to bend up on the 16th and then go 17-14 on the B and then go. We're going to bend slightly on the 17th fret on the G string, which is our blue note there, the flat 5. And then play the 14th fret on the B. Now, I tabbed it out as 3 hits. I think he does it like 4, 5, 6 times. Maybe 4. I think it's 4 times. Anyway, the point being is, on the ending we go 16-14. I put a little bit of vibrato on it. Okay, now there's kind of a little bit of a tricky lick here. This one goes like this, the third phrase. This is, before I play this phrase, this is, you can tell that this guitar solo has pre-thought out note selection and phrases. The first 3 phrases of this guitar solo especially, you kind of got to get right, and then the last 3 or 4, you can get close because they were more improvised. But this solo starts off, I think it starts off a lot stronger than it ends, which, I'm not putting anybody down. That's just my opinion. But the long phrase I'm talking about is kind of the signature phrase of this solo. So it goes like this. All right, so we're employing this blue note again on the 17th fret on the G string. So we're gonna go 14, 16, 17 on the G, and then 14 on the B. So then a half bend on the 14th fret on the G string to end it. So all right, very cool, very basic stuff. When you hear metal bands doing these solos, sometimes when you hear them, you're like, damn, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life. And then you learn it, you're like, man, that ain't that cool. I could have come up with that, but you didn't. They did. And they're Judas priests, and we're not. All right, so on to the next phrase. Now, I put simile on the tablature because some of this stuff just is not, in all honesty, is not worth slowing down and learning every little single note perfectly. And I got this really close, but you got to be in the ballpark. This is 99% in the ballpark, and it's going to get you there. Nobody's ever going to say you played this part wrong if you do it like this, or do something very, very similar to this, because the note selection and the position is accurate. So I'm going to go like this with this fourth phrase. Now up to speed. All right, so what I'm doing there is I'm going to be hammering on, it's 14, 16, 14 on the D, and then 16 on the A. Like that, starts off. And then we're going to just do the 16, 15, 14 chromatic run. There's your blue note on the 15th. Go back up, back down, and then 17, 14 on the low E. I've spent years alternate picking and hammering on and making things super clean, and sometimes I just can't make metal solos sound as nasty as they should be, because I try to put too much technique into it. So I hear myself doing this kind of stuff and I'm like, man, that sounds very clinical. But then over a track, you know, you got to sort of put a little bit more feel into it. Something like that, okay? Now the next simile phrase, we're going to be bending the 17th fret on the B string 3 times. All right, we're going to do 3 bends. And then he goes something like that, all right? Now he ends on a B from what I can tell, which is the 14th fret on the A string. And the reason is, at this part of the solo, they're doing chord changes. And he's trying to play over those changes, and you can tell this is where they punched in this solo if you really listen carefully to it, which is fine. You know, I punch in solos all the time, and that's what we do as guitar players. But he had to change up his game a little bit to go with these, to play with these chords, but sticking in the pentatonic box shape of F sharp. So a good idea is to always end or play around the chords that are in, or the notes that are in some of the chords. And since we're playing over some B minor stuff, that B was the perfect note to end on. All right, and then he does another phrase that kind of plays around with B minor pentatonic in a way. He bends the 16th fret on the G string, and he bends it back down, or releases it. He does this cliche little lick. Now that's not a dig, I'm not saying it's bad, but you know, this. So if you take the B minor pentatonic scale, here's your B. And you go, he ends this phrase in this B minor shape. He ends it with that lick. That's, you know, we could have went, but he was going around B minor, so he switched down here. So what we did is this descending run. He goes. So what I'm doing there is 16th fret, bend up, release, 14, 13, 11, 9. Gonna bend the 9th fret up, pinky on the 10th fret on the B string, and then 9th fret bend up. I always take my middle finger and my ring finger and stick them together like this, and this middle finger helps me get strength to do these bends. So if you're struggling with this bend, put both fingers on the string, put your fretting finger on there, then support it with your middle finger in front of it, and use both fingers to push up. Helps with vibrato, pitch, clarity, and action. What am I trying to say? Pitch, accuracy. All right. Then the last phrase of the solo is kind of interesting. This one goes like this. It goes. So he's on the B string, but he's going to go all the way up to the high E, and he's going to eventually bend up on the 17th fret on the high E. So he goes like this. So what I'm doing there is I'm going to go kind of a unison bend. 17th fret on the B string, 14 on the high E, then bend up a whole step on the 17th fret, then 14 on the E, and then go 17, 14 on the B, and then 17 on the G. Bend it up like a quarter step, half step, and we're going to play the 14th on the B. I'm down picking, then up picking. Then I take the 16th fret on the very end and bend it up a whole step on the G string and add vibrato to it, all right? So it's... I'm not sure how many times he goes. I think he does it like 4 times. And then you end with that 16. Bend it up a whole step. Again, a simile, but that's very, very similar and accurate to what he's doing on the record, all right? So I've shown you the verse, the pre-chorus, and the chorus in this song, the intro, and the main riff, as well as a guitar solo. This song is a great example of how heavy metal, classic metal songs use pentatonic minor scales, the flat fifth or devil's triad or dyad, blue note, tritone, whatever you want to call it. And it's interesting, just a couple days ago, you know, I did a lesson on, or I released a lesson just yesterday, in fact, if you're watching this real time, on how to play Another Brick in the Wall. And David Gilmour plays in D minor pentatonic. And it's just fun to see how different players get different things out of the same pentatonic minor scale that we all play. And what, you know, different flavors that they use when they cook, so to speak, right? And what really makes a song come to life is the use of the flat 5, the vibrato, and some of these super high bends and signature licks in the song. And I like how they ended it. They ended it with the blue note again, because they just really want to drive that home. Really lends itself well to this song. Anyway, I hope you like this kind of content. I hope the lesson was helpful. If it was, please comment below. Let me know some other songs in F sharp minor that you love, some great riffs. Please consider subscribing. And as always, have a great day. Peace out.